Coming up on Michigan's High School Sports Show.
Playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. We've got a full slate of games and oh, the humanity. Upset alert on the program. It's all ahead.
We love trophy shows as district and regional hardware were passed out this week. Is your team still living the dream?
Find out next on State Champs.
Hello and welcome back to your favorite weekly high school highlights show, State Champs. I'm Genna Rose, and it was an incredible week as we saw a little bit of everything across the prep sports spectrum. We've got more than a dozen highlights for you this week, and everything was win or go home.
That's right, and before we bring all that goodness to you, if you are searching for the right university for you, I ask you to consider Lawrence Technological University. Considered by many publications as one of the best private universities in the entire Midwest, they also offer over 24 sports, and they would like you to recruit yourself. Check out the school. Go to ltu.edu to check out the sports program and to recruit yourself. Go to ltuathletics.com. So without any further ado, let's get to the madness.
I'm Greg Molson at Rochester Adams for a district final between Utica Eisenhower and Rochester Stony Creek. The Cougars advanced with a 1-0 semifinal win over Romeo, in which Brendan Davis threw a no-hitter. Chad Antone wasn't quite as good, but he was close, getting the dribbler to third to end the first, stranding a runner at third. The Cougars then take the lead in the second. Andrew Shafrick with the double down the line. He would then score the game's first run on a sacrifice fly. Still in the second, it's Eric Booth on third, and Brendan Davis brings him home with the single to right to make it 2-zip. Zach Jones brings in one more in the inning with the single to left to make it 3-0 Stony Creek.
Keep going, Kenny, keep going! Oh, yeah!
Eagles starter Jake Varellen would shut down the Cougars the rest of the way, getting the 6-4-3 double play here, keeping Eisenhower in it. But the Ike hitters could not get to Antone, shutting out the Eagles through 6. Eisenhower finally gets a couple of runners on in the 7th as Stony Creek brings in Jake Parks to try to close it out. The Eagles finally get on the board with a sacrifice fly to center, bringing in Justin Hurt to cut the lead to 3-1.
No throw.
But on the very next pitch, Parks gets the infield pop-up to end it. Rochester Stony Creek claiming the district title, giving up just one run in 2 games.
I mean, it's really cool. It was a great team win today, and, it's awesome. It really is. It's awesome.
It's a long time coming. It's been a few years since we won one. These group of boys are so awesome. We have 14 seniors, and they just gave their all today. It was pretty special.
District 72 final, OSCODA battling Roscommon. Let's pick things up in the 5th. Trevor Miller lines a shot to third, takes a bounce off of Cody Kahn, and that's going to result in a single for the junior. Hunter Giroux pinch runs for Miller, and the move pays off for the Owls as he'll slide his way home to give OSCODA a 4-3 lead. Still in the 5th, Caleb Nagel is going to find some grass as he shoots one up the middle for a base hit. That's going to score 2 runs for the Owls, and just like that, they're in business, and the bleeding continues. Miller, this time, finds a gap in right for a base hit. That's going to score Nagel and Brennan Mills. Owls now up 9-6. Roscommon would try to climb their way back into this ball game with a runner on third. Nick Peer hits a grounder to Owen Franklin, and despite grounding out, he brings home Ethan Weingardner. Top 7, Bucks down to their final out. Mason Beaver hits a chopper the second, and Nagel says game. The Owls capture their first district crown in program history as they go on to beat the Bucks 11-4.
State Champs, Michigan's high school sports show, is brought to you in part by Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramos of DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, and today on Game Changers, we're going to talk about percussion and vibration massage and what's all the hype. Products like these are being used by athletes and active people of all ages. But what's the hype, and will this work for you? The Hypervolt produces percussion massage. Devices like this give targeted pulses to the muscle tissue with deep pressure. The benefit is it can be used as a warm-up or as recovery. It can help with muscle pain, soreness, stiffness, increasing your flexibility. Apply it over a muscle for about 2 to 3 minutes in a comfortable vibration range. And then move on to another muscle area. A typical total treatment can last 15 to 20 minutes. Another option is the Viper. It puts a new twist on the foam roller. Low-level vibration produces more muscle relaxation and recovery. Higher speeds of vibration are more for activation and game readiness. Follow the same guidelines as previous. Spend about 2 to 3 minutes on each muscle group. In this case, we're working the hamstrings. And then work throughout the entire lower body for a total of 15 to 20 minutes. The sphere is another way of utilizing vibration, either for muscle activation with a high frequency vibration or for muscle relaxation and recovery with the lower level. This sphere can target some really specific areas like the glute muscles. Sitting on the ball with your leg crossed, it's similar to how you release muscles using a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball with the massage therapy, but again, now we have the added benefit of vibration. For more tools to improve your sports performance, see the experts at DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers.
I'm Ryan Slocum in Montrose for a Division IV girls soccer district final between Auburn Hills, Oakland Christian, and Clarkston Everest Collegiate. The Mountaineers were on the attack from the start. Avery McNally fires one toward the goal. Chloe Antockley tries to knock in the rebound, but Amelia Sifoni is there to make the save. They were still scoreless with just under 25 minutes to play in the first half. The freshman, Hal Ramos, sends it in. The ball is loose in front and sent home by Abby Malash, giving the Mountaineers a 1-0 lead. They were on the attack again just over 5 minutes later. It's Antockley with the fancy footwork. She finds Celeste James in front. She hooks it in with the left, and that makes it a 2-0 game. And now the Mountaineers are rolling. Just 68 seconds later, Celine Legg with some good leg here. From just outside the box, the junior sends it over the keeper's head and in. Everest now up 3-0. And they're not done just yet. With a minute to play in the half, the Lancers try to clear, but McNally is there. The senior sends a bullet to the back of the net. Clarkston Everest led it 4-0 at the break. Oakland Christian with an opportunity early in the second half. The freshman, Leah Zarilli, sends it ahead to Haley Ide on the run, but her shot is reined in by Lila Chow to keep the Lancers off the board. Meanwhile, the Mountaineers keep adding to their lead. Scarlett Hamilton sends it over to Antockley. The junior knocks it home from point-blank range. That puts Everest up a 5 spot, and they would add one more. Malash turns and fires from 18 yards out, her second goal of the night, and that would do it. Clarkston Everest Collegiate wins the district title with a 6-0 shutout. They now move on to the regional at Saginaw Valley Lutheran.
State Champs Michigan's high school sports show is brought to you in part by the Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA.
I'm Mike Erlitis. The bagpipes are in full effect at Troy Athens High School as we take you to a regional final matchup between the Highlanders of Rochester Adams taking on the 2019 defending regional champs, the Dragons of Lake Orion. The Dragons breathing that fire early. Check out the falling Tyler Baker finding an open Braden Drury for the goal. Lake Orion up 2-0 after 1. In the second, Adams looking to get on the board. Now down 3-0. A quick shot by Ben Kakoa finds the back of the cage. Highlanders down 3-1. Closing seconds of the first half, Lake Orion would come right back. Tyler Baker makes it 4-1 Dragons as we head to the half. No let up with Lake Orion. Check out the persistence of Cade Manzo, taking a hit and still finding the net. Dragons out to a comfortable 6-1 lead. We take you later in the quarter. Adams now down 8-2, but not giving up. Great shot by Jacob McCaffrey. Deficit decreased to 8-3. Still in the third, less than 10 seconds to play. It's Manzo striking once again. This time from way out, putting his Dragons up 9-3 after 3. Highlanders looking for one last push to get back in it. Great look inside from Joey Shallow to Santino Orsini. Adams down, but not out at 9-4. Just too much Dragons in the home stretch. Tyler Baker comes up big again. His third goal on the night, leading all scorers as Lake Orion captures the regional title, defeating Rochester Adams by a final score of 13-4.
Time now to take a look inside Lawrence Technological University Athletics. We caught up with the LTU cross-country coach for a 2020-2021 season recap.
As you know, our season got pushed from the fall to the spring. We ended up having the kids come on campus in August. The only thing we could do with the kids was to practice. The kids came in August in great shape. I mean, it's very rarely do I have freshmen that come in and do the summer training schedule and come in great shape, and some of the times these kids were running was great. In fact, me and my assistant coach, John Barbie, we had to actually adjust our program that we had scheduled for the season. We had to adjust it because the kids just came in prepared. I mean, I had freshmen that were running faster than the freshmen I've had previously. With us adding track this year and this being our first year, a lot of the kids I got solely because of the reputation. Oh, we're having a new track program. So next season, things go according to plan. We'll go to some of our traditional meets, the Louisville Classic, we'll go to West Virginia. A lot of things that we've done in the past, a lot of the freshmen this year have never experienced. The road trips we went on just because of COVID, we couldn't leave the state. I'm hoping that these freshmen who will be sophomores now will actually be able to experience the fun that it is in cross country as the upperclassmen have.
Take your future into your hands. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
We head to White Lake Charter Township at Lakeland High School for Division I Boys Lacrosse Regional Final, the Northville Mustangs taking on South Lyon Unified. A few minutes into the first quarter, Mustangs up by 1. Reed Covert knocks the ball free in the defensive zone. Alden Uphoff gets the ball and carries it all the way to midfield, looks for senior Andrew Goodrich, and fires it in, knotting the game at 1. The game now tied at 2 with 4 minutes left in the first. Mustangs swinging the ball around in the offensive zone. Dylan Hicks gives it behind the net to Nick Salamone. He finds senior Luke Tardich, who buries it. Northville takes a 3-2 lead at the end of 1. On to the second quarter now. Game tied at 3. Mustangs' Dylan Hicks brings it down low, gives it off to Nick Salamone again, finds a wide open Colton Kuhl, who fires it downstairs for the goal. Mustangs back on top 4-3. South Lyon down by 2 with 5 minutes left in the first half. Gavin Lamotti with it up top, creating space, passes it off to sophomore Andrew Marzalek, who scoops up the ground ball, slithering through the Mustang defense, and finally bouncing one in to cut the Northville lead to 1 heading into halftime. Mustangs up by 2, just 4 minutes to go in the third. Luke Tardich with the ball along the right side, works it behind the net, handing it off to senior Colton Kuehl. He gets some free space from the pick, races out in front, and tucks it into the goal despite the contact. He had a team-high 4 goals on the night. Northville up by 3. A minute later, South Lyon would generate some offense as well. Alden Uphoff with the ball passes it behind the net to Andrew McCarthy, loses his footing but regains possession, finds Andrew Marzalek, who sidewinds it into the goal. South Lyon down by 2 now. 6 minutes to go in the third. Mustangs up by a pair. Working the ball around the backside of the net, it's Kuehl again, finding the senior Salamani, fires a bullet to the back of the net for the goal. Mustangs back up by 3. To the fourth we go, with the rain coming down harder and harder. The Mustangs already scoring 4 in the fourth, giving them a 6-goal advantage, and they weren't done yet. Working the ball up top here, Dylan Hicks hands it off to senior Luke Warango, who buries it. The Mustangs go on to win the regional final with a final score of 14-9 over South Lyon Unified.
State Champs, Michigan's high school sports show, is brought to you in part by the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female High School Athlete of the Year Awards.
I'm Greg Molson at Dunham Hills for a Division I Boys Golf Regional. Let's start with the individuals, and it's Walled Lake Northern's Ryan O'Rourke with a nice par-saving putt on the 10th. He finished in 6th place with a 76, qualifying for the state finals. Neil Zhu of Detroit Catholic Central was one shot better, finishing in 5th place with a 75. The next individual qualifier for states was Braden Nemec of Plymouth, who shot a 74 to finish in 4th. Lakeland's McCoy Bajoli finished in 3rd. He hits the nice chip shot on his final hole to finish with a plus 273 and will also advance to the D1 state tournament. At the top of the leaderboard, we had Brighton's Davis Codd. He took the lead with back-to-back birdies on the 12th and 13th, then followed that up with 4 pars in the final 5 holes. The senior, who plays hockey in the OHL with the Saginaw Spirit, returned from an NHL prospects camp to finish with a 1 under par 70. That score was matched by Heartland's Cole Lamberger, playing on his home course. Check out the approach shot on the 10th, setting up a short birdie putt. That was one of 6 birdies for Lamberger on the back 9 as he shot a 1 under 70, setting up a playoff for medalist honors. The 2 seniors from rivals Brighton and Heartland would start on the 10th, and Lamberger finds trouble behind the trees. He has to punch out and would have to get up and down from there to get a par. He ended up with this 35-footer to try to keep his hopes alive, and he reads it perfectly.
I knew which way it broke, and I knew when I hit it there that I'd have a good chance of making it, and I just had to get it on line with the right speed. And now I hit it, and I was looking at it, like last 10 feet, I thought it looked good, and then it just dropped. And that was an amazing feeling.
That's the fun about golf. You know, when you get a competitor like him, and in the moment, things like that can happen. So, you know, when that happens, there's nothing you can do but give him a fist bump and smile and, you know, hit your shots.
Codd still with a chance to win if he could hit this birdie putt, but it's right and short. So they'd go to the 18th for a second playoff hole, and it's Codd for par, just burning the edge. So Lamberger could win it with a par, and he gets it. The senior from Heartland beating the senior from Brighton, earning medalist honors.
It means everything. That was actually like my first tournament win, so to come out here and play that well and roll the rock like that feels very good to come out and beat crosstown rival.
You know, that was such an unreal experience to get the playoff and everyone watching. Cole is such a great competitor, and you know, that was just so much fun. That was a blast.
In the team race, Detroit Catholic Central earned a spot at the state tournament. Joey Purr with the birdie putt as the Shamrocks finished in 3rd. At the top, it was the same story as the individual race, with Heartland edging out Brighton by just 2 shots, 304 to 306.
Proud of them. I mean, we came in a little bit of an underdog, I would have to say. Really didn't have a lot of pressure on us. I just said, let's go have some fun and play some golf. We know the golf course. Focus was on staying in the present, playing one hole at a time and having fun, enjoying the day and not quitting until it's over.
Thanks, everybody. One last now.
Hey everyone, welcome back inside the State Champs Sports Network studio for another update in the Total Softball Player of the Year race. No, this is not Donnie Dreher. I'm afraid that he lost a fight with a fire pit, so he's not going to be here this evening. But we do have the other member of the Swing Away podcast outside of Genna Rose, and that is Brian Chittister, and he is with College Bound Jocks. Now, his daughter, Amanda Chittister, if you remember back in the day, was somebody all over State Champs, kind of near the beginning of our State Champs run. And obviously she has had a tremendous career following high school, and she has an opportunity to play in the Olympics. Granted, if we have an Olympics, but you've been a softball lifer.
Yep.
And your company, College Bound Jocks, let's just kind of familiarize our audience with, what it is that you provide for softball.
Well, we are a recruiting service, and so we 90% about what we do is softball related, but we help high school age athletes get recruited by college coaches. We start that process off by producing skills videos, and from there we help market those kids to the appropriate college coaches, and that's the big key, is getting them in front of the right coaches, and because we do that, we have a 99% success rate.
Well, there you go, and that's a kind of a segue before we talk about the race into the talent level that we see in the state. We were talking before we came on about when your daughter, Amanda, was, tearing up things and talking about kind of her club teams, and you said they wouldn't even hold a candle to cut to so why do how you've obviously seen the trend over the last decade especially, but just kind of talk about where the talent level has ballooned to.
I think the biggest difference between now and 10 years ago is just the level of training. The level of training these kids get today versus what we had back then is just night and day, and that has really helped these kids develop into really, really good players, so that by the time they're getting into college, they're ready to rock and roll. There is not much of a learning curve once they leave high school. Those kids are really solid players, and that's what I see mostly is just the training.
Yeah, and this generation that's coming in, we see it across all sports, the athletic ability. They're athletes from an early age, and they are not taken lightly. They are given every opportunity in a lot of cases that the boys are given, sometimes more. Just because of the intense interest, especially when we're talking sports like, soccer and things of that nature, and basketball, but definitely in softball. And, I guess we're coming outside of a generation of parents that love sports so much, and they feel that their daughters have every opportunity that any boy can have.
Right, and they just want to give their kids every opportunity they can, so they're supplying them with hitting coaches and pitching coaches, and just like things like Tommy Walker Fielding Club. I recommend that to everybody because I've seen the benefits. So these kids will start at a certain level, and within a year or so, it's just remarkable. McKaylee Velamont was one of our former CBJ kids, now at Central Michigan. She is, without a doubt, the #1 kid out of almost 2,000 softball players I've worked with, the most improved player. And I said to her, you need to get a Tommy Walker, and the difference that kid made was unbelievable.
So what is that? To explain what Tommy Walker is for those.
At Total Sports, they run a program called the Tommy Walker Fielding Club, and what they do is the kids will sign up and they just run you through drills. They teach you all these fundamentals that this is what the college coaches are looking for. I mean, that's kind of what we do at College Bound Jocks when we produce your skills video. I know what the college coaches are looking for, so we're going to make sure we run those type of drills. But the Tommy Walker Fielding Club actually helps these kids learn these drills and those fundamentals, and they do a phenomenal job.
That's right. So check it out. Now let's talk about what's happening in our race. And one thing that's happening right now in the state of Michigan is we are experiencing playoffs, and we are experiencing upsets already. Grand Blanc losing to Davison. Now, the results to the race is the fact that Kendall Klokak, the senior from Grand Blanc, who is going to Purdue, is now no longer playing high school softball. So obviously that can have ramifications. We don't have changes this week in our top 10, but obviously her opportunity not to continue might give an opportunity for someone else. So we'll see how that plays out. The big thing we wanted to talk about with Brian is this home run craze that we have had for the last several years in the state of Michigan, but definitely this year has been another incredible race. Kendra Vanderloot from Otsego. We've been tracking Three Rivers, Callie Heveland, and then we also had Lauren Saborski from South Lyon East. Now, when it comes to Callie Heveland, we followed her. Obviously, she's a DAC nominee for Athlete of the Year, but even in 2019, she was in our race. She was competing, and we knew how great she was. You have had an opportunity to work with Kendra Vanderloot from Otsego, and she is somebody we didn't expect to be competing for this record.
Yeah, I got introduced to her about 2 years ago. Her travel ball coach, Red Pastor from the SaberCats, gave me a call, says we really need to get this kid a video. She's a fantastic player, and he said she can hit. So she came out, we did her skills video, and I will tell you, she hit nothing but bombs, and I was really impressed with her, just as a 10th grader, and she has just continued to go up. She ended up getting recruited and committed to Toledo, University of Toledo, and I frequently text Coach Joe Abraham to say, "Wow, you have got a gem coming your way." So and he knows it, and he's excited.
It's a pretty great thing, and this state has representation from, this race has representation from all over the state. So here's the way things play out, people. So the top 10 is going to freeze on Wednesday, June 9th. There are a ton of people on the watch list who could play their way into our final top 10 here, but that is what will happen. Then the voting will end the following Monday, June 14th after regionals, and then the final four will be selected on Wednesday, June 16th. So that's the day after quarters. So everything's going to be fast and furious here over the next couple of weeks. We are looking forward to seeing how things play out. You got to check out the Swing Away podcast. So that is our softball podcast. If you missed the one last week with all those college coaches, it's phenomenal. So
we're doing it again next week. Next week we'll have more college coaches on and have a whole nother discussion.
All right, so Donnie and Brian and Genna, they're holding it down. Lots of shout outs this week, so they're going to shout out a lot of players, and they're going to go into the top 10 even more and talk about some of the individual performances of those who are there, and maybe some athletes who might get an opportunity to play their way in. So it's the perfect companion to this particular video. So make sure you check out State Champs Swing Away podcast wherever you get podcasts, and we will be back with Donnie for another update, and we'll talk about our final top 10. That is next week, so we'll see you then.
State Champs Michigan's High School Sports Show is brought to you in part by the Michigan High School Athletic Association. I'm Ryan Slocum in Fenton for a Division I girls lacrosse regional final between 19-0 Midland and Huron Valley. The Cavaliers are already up 1-0 just over 5 minutes in. Make it 2-0. The junior Emma Murphy nets her first goal of the night. 10 seconds later, they do it again. Gabby Wilson wins the faceoff, and she just decides she's going to do this thing herself. The senior takes it all the way, weaving through traffic, and goes 5-hole for the score. That's 3 goals in 78 seconds to put Midland up 3-0. The Titans would finally get on the board thanks to a couple of nice feeds. First, it's Sydney Pattinson to Abigail Robsky in front. Then Emily Prell dumps it inside to Veronica Ricci. She turns and fires top shelf. Huron Valley cuts the deficit to 5-3. But the Cavs would build that lead right back. Murphy, the Notre Dame commit, set a state record with 17 goals in a game earlier this year. This is her 4th straight, and it's pure filth as the junior snaps it down low. Midland led it 8-4 at the half. The Titans begin the second half feeling it. The sophomore Prell takes it all the way and picks the top corner less than a minute in. And just 50 seconds after that, it's Prell dishing out the punishment, finding a streaking Ricci who sends it home. But they had no answer for Murphy, bouncing around and off defenders for another nasty goal. It puts Midland back up 4 at 10-6. Huron Valley doesn't give up though. Robski with a great cut, and she fires it in. We have a 3-goal game once again, but that's when the Cavs flip the switch. Delaney Abbott nets the final of her 3 goals, and this is the sophomore Jade Remackle with the first of her 3 scores. Meanwhile, Emma Murphy had 3 hat tricks. That's right, a 9-goal night for the junior as Midland beats Huron Valley 16-8 to win its first regional championship in school history.
This is the first time we've ever even made it past like the second game in the region, so this is huge for the program. We have, I think this is our 10th year, and we had never made it that far, so you know, to get this far and to win this year is just huge.
Just hard work. In practice, we're always working with each other, and you know, we're pushing to be better every single day, so we're just so amazed. It's awesome.
I'm Jeremy Addo. We head to Trenton High School for a Division II girls soccer district final between the Chiefs from New Boston Huron and the Marauders from Gibraltar Carlson. New Boston Huron trying for its first district crown in 8 years and looking to get on the board first. Here's Hughes turning and firing on the net, but junior keeper Araya Shulaw is there for the diving stop. As for Carlson, they were in search for their first ever district title in school history. With 17 minutes to go in the opening half, sophomore Rachel Poley loops it over the top and just takes a high bounce and over the fingertips to give the Marauders a 1-0 lead. But back come the Chiefs just 10 minutes later. Ashley Christensen able to get to the ball first and send it home. We remain tied going into the half. But New Boston Huron was turning on the pressure in the second half. Olivia Manoa with the feed to Grace Traster, who heads it into the hands of Shulaw, who proudly presents the ball afterwards. Well, just over 7 minutes left in this one with the rain pouring down now. Chiefs on the attack here. Hughes with a clean look on net, but just sails wide. Overtime would have to decide this district final. To the second OT we go. The Chiefs looking for the go-ahead strike. It's Hughes bending it towards the cage. Shulaw gets her hand on it, rings off the bar, but still able to cover the ball up for another save. We're heading to a shootout.
If we think we're going to win, we're going to win. We're going to win if we think we're going to win. Competition.
Isabella Elliott was up first for Huron, but it's who else? Shulaw again with a sprawling save. Next up it would be Poley for the Marauders, and spirals this one through. Carlson up 1-0. After another Huron miss, the Marauders looking to extend the lead, and it's Allison Dillon doing the honors. Carlson now up a pair. A few shooters later, Huron needs to score to extend things here, but Christensen's shot sails high. Celebration time for Carlson as the Marauders beat Huron in the shootout 2-0, capturing their first district title in school history by a final score of 2-1.
Carlson soccer. We won districts. I don't know what else to say, but just thank you for watching. Thank you.
So how's it feel to be district champs for the first time in school history?
It feels amazing. I just came here prepared to finish it out and even go all the way to PK, so I was prepared for it all.
It just means everything. We put our heart out on the field just every single time, and we just earned it. And I'm just so proud of my teammates. We worked so hard to get it.
I started coaching here at Carlson with my daughter in 2012, and this is something that all the girls have always wanted. And I always joked with this team that they were probably my second favorite team because my daughter was on that first team that I coached. And they asked me after the game, are they my favorite team? And they are. They're my favorite team. It's just a feeling that I can't. It's tough. I'm at a loss for words.
Jake Vanderbrook from the Northeast Michigan area. District 109 softball final between Augrey Sims and Hale. Top second Eagles on the move. Skylar Loria finds the green for a single. Shaylee Brandt heading home, and the throw to the plate is not in time. Hale up 3-zip. Still in the second, Felicity Hicks strikes out, but she can advance the first. Emily Freeland can't make the play at the bag, and that's going to score Erica Bernard. Eagles pulling away. And the Eagles just kept the hitting train moving in the second inning, which includes this RBI single by senior Shaylee Brandt. Eagles up 10-zip, but the Wolverines were not going down without a fight in this game as they get the 2-run RBI single from Emily Freeling. But in the end, the Hale Eagles were able to shut the door for the first time ever. The Eagles are bringing a district title back to H-Town as they take down the Wolverines by a score of 16-3.
The softball playoffs beginning with a great Division I pre-district matchup between Grand Blanc and Davison. The Bobcats playing as the visiting team on their home field, and in the top of the first, they score first. Carson Kuhlman on second when Sydney Long singles to right. That brings Kuhlman racing home to give Grand Blanc the early lead. Kendall Klochak then takes over on the mound for the Cats. The Purdue commit comes out throwing smoke, striking out the side in the first. After giving up that one run in the first, the Cardinals' Paige Anderson matched Klochak, getting some help from her third baseman Ella McLeod with a diving catch. The Cards finally get their first base runner in the fourth, and Anderson brings her in with the line shot to right. McLeod coming in to tie it up at 1 apiece. Grand Blanc puts its leadoff hitter on in the sixth. Sydney Long with the hot shot, but right at Gabrielle Monreal, who steps on first for the double play. So it remained tied into the bottom of the seventh. 2 outs, no one on, when Sydney Fielder finds a hole, takes a bad bounce past the left fielder, allowing Fielder to get into scoring position at second. She was then replaced by freshman Layla Lupu. Then it's Marissa Metzger with the single to center. Davison coach Brad Brown holds up Lupu at third as the throw comes to the plate. But as the Bobcats convene at the mound, watch Brown tell Lupu to take off for the plate. There's no one there, and that's a walk-off winner. Davison stuns Grand Blanc, which entered the playoffs ranked second in the state, but it's all done after just one game. It's the Cardinals moving on with a 2-1 win.
Well, at first he told me to go back to third, and then he told me to just go home, so I just went as fast as I could, and I went home.
We just saw the catcher walking out, no time was called, and I got a speedy girl at third with Layla Lupu, and she just beat her at home.
It feels like Christmas. That was the best day of my life.
Saturday, June 5th, kicks off 3 straight weekends of MHSAA Spring Championships. It truly will be the most normal thing we've all seen in the last 16 months. We start with track and field finals at 4 locations on the west side of the state and our UP finals at Kingsford. During the same weekend, we also have golf and boys tennis in the Upper Peninsula and girls tennis in the Lower Peninsula. Following that, finals for both boys and girls lacrosse are on Saturday, June 12th. The boys are in Howell and the girls are in Novi. And the Lower Peninsula boys golf finals will be at 4 great golf courses, all within an hour of mid-Michigan. And we wrap up on the campus of Michigan State University with softball, baseball, and girls soccer. The last day of play, weather permitting, will be on Saturday, June the 19th. Tickets for all final events can be purchased through our online ticketing partner, GoFan. You can watch the track and field finals, lacrosse finals, girls soccer finals, softball semifinals and finals, and the baseball semifinals and finals live on the NFHS network. It's going to be great to see so many fans and spectators at our remaining events. I hope to see all of you at one of these upcoming finals. For more information, visit our website. That's MHSAA.com.
Just a few more weeks of the high school sports season, but we've got 3 big live events that we will be bringing you here in the month of June.
That's right. First, it's the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female Athlete of the Year Awards. 12 of the state's top male and female student athletes vying for the title of Athlete of the Year. This is a huge event. We will be streaming live on Monday, June 14th, beginning at 6 p.m. State Champs has been hosting this event for 6 years now. Come celebrate with us.
Also coming up is the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association All-Star Game on Saturday, June 26th. The final high school football game of the season will take place here at Lorne Tech, and you can watch it live on the State Champs Network.
That's right, and finally, the Baseball Coaches All-Star Game takes place on Monday, June 28th. Live from Comerica Park, join State Champs as we will have the final high school event of the entire 2020-2021 school year, and I promise you there will be guys drafted into the major leagues after this game. Maybe watch the next Derek Jeter or DJ LeMahieu. Join us. It's going to be awesome.
And it's always awesome when I beat Lorne at Rochambeau, so let's end on another high note.
Let's not. Here we go.
Rochambeau. 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 What's going on, Shambo? Rochambeau.
We had to end this. You were tipping your hand.
What do you mean, tipping my hand?
State Champs Michigan's High School Sports Show is presented by Lawrence Technological University. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. The Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female High School Athlete of the Year Awards. Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. And the Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Association, a proud partner of State Champs. For all things high school baseball coaching in Michigan, visit MHSBCA.org.